Hello guys, welcome once again to Think Tank. Now seriously, I think that when next we want to elect our political office holders, one of the major criteria we must check out for is what I call empathy. Why did I say so? The truth is that most of our Nigerian politicians, especially those that have spent a majority of their life in political offices, do not understand what an average Nigerian goes through out there. Obviously, they've forgotten that majority of what they have achieved in life is centered around what they got from the commonwealth of the people. Yes, I'd like you to take a look at the actions of Chief Barrister Wike, the FCT minister yesterday, who referred to some Nigerians as land grabbers. Swiftly, Dr. Abati and the Arise News crew has sent Barrister Wike, the FCT minister, to the dry cleaners, as other stories will also be coming your way. Take a look.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, on Tuesday, issued a warning to roadside beggars to desist from the act or risk being arrested by enforcement agents. Well, Wike made the comments during the flag-off ceremony of a road construction. Well, later in the day, Wike ordered the immediate demolition of illegal structures at the Sabon-Rugbe South District layout in the FCT. He described the developers as land grabbers. Let's take a look.
Sir, thank you, sir. We are not land grabbers. We are developers. We have submitted papers to authority. Verifiable.
We know now.
Dr. Abati, you know I cannot comment because this is your story. Go ahead.
Anyway,
land grabbers.
Well, the minister of the FCT, in whatever he does, should just make sure that it's fair. Because the people that are called land grabbers, they are also citizens. But there is procedure for getting land. If you are to get land in the Federal Capital Territory, you must have the papers, you must have the title, you must have gone through the allocation process and paid fees that should be paid. It's not for the minister, to engage people like a headmaster and telling people to shut up. Even if they grab the land, there is a procedure, that should be followed. And yesterday was a very busy day for Headmaster Wike, because apart from his engagement with the land grabbers, I think he was also said to have issued a directive that the beggars will be taken off the streets in Abuja, with effect from October 27th. He has given them an ultimatum. Where these beggars, they are also products of the deprivation.
That's the point.
In Nigeria. In some other jurisdictions, the priority should be to care for them, should be to, maybe relocate them, rehabilitate them, provide opportunities for them. But, the minister was addressing the matter as if he's an emperor. If you come onto the street to beg for money, you constitute a security risk to, the Federal Capital Territory, and the police will arrest you. Okay, if the police arrest beggars, what next? Because they are also citizens with fundamental rights under the Constitution. What should the FCT do for them to help them? But he did another good thing yesterday. He commissioned 40 quotas for judges of the Federal High Court in the Federal Capital Territory. Well, I think that's a very good thing. And he spoke well there about the welfare of judges and all of that. Of course, it would have been strange for him to go to the commissioning of the Federal High Court judges' quarters at Katampe and talk carelessly to the judges. I think he behaved himself very well there. But, telling people to shut up It's not a good test.
I know. I mean, I'd like for your comment, Ayo, as well on this one, in the FCT about this demolition, and he's ordering this immediate demolition without prior warning, without prior notice. What's going to happen to these people? We face this sort of conversation in Lagos as well.
The face of leadership must be with compassion and must be knowing that you're dealing with human beings. You're not dealing with statues, or it's human beings. These are people. So yes, we want to see law and order. We want to see things being done properly. But the manner in which you carry things out can make a very big impact. He was given an example of a big organization that we all know, whereby he had dinner with them the night before, and by the next day he had revoked their CEO.
Yes.
So if he invites you for dinner, be careful in case. I mean, I'm just joking about that.
But it's the truth. That's what happened. It was Julius Berger.
Yes, he said that they had dinner almost instead of. I mean, I think he was trying to reflect that there are no sacred cows.
Yes.
That even big organizations, but it's important that leadership must have a human face. We want you to do the right thing. We want you to enforce law and order, but we also want it to be done with heart. People are suffering.
Absolutely.
So we want people to not feel like they are in a draconian society where anything can happen. You can wake up one morning and your house is gone. There has to be a human face and compassion to leadership.
Well said, Ayo. All right, we'll take another story then. A former member of the House of Representatives, Farouk Lawan, was released from prison on Tuesday after serving his 5-year jail term over bribery charges. Farouk, who was the chairman of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee probing the multi-billion naira petrol subsidy fraud in 2012, was convicted and sentenced to prison in 2021 for accepting a $500,000 bribe from Femi Otedola, then chairman of Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited, in what was a sting operation from the businessman. Farouk posted a video which has now made the rounds on social media of the moment he left the Kuje Custodial Center in Abuja. Let's take a look. Alright, Farouk posted that video singing praises to God. We know this story. He was supposed to spend, 7 years, and he was released. I don't know. I mean, I believe he thought about it. Gave him five years, and then he came out singing praises to God.
He left prison and he had to say, I have not enjoyed my
Of course. So this subsidy scam, which is one of the biggest issues in recent times, is what the main issue is. What has happened to that ad hoc committee?
We all know what happened now. You remember Farouk was supposed to be that ray of hope.
Yeah.
That never was. This was the man that was supposed to investigate as regards that subsidy committee. But all we now saw that emerged were those female audio. My brother, and how they're going to manipulate and give him money. So he sold himself and he sold his conscience. And kudos to the boldness of Femi Otedola to be able to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, people like this, that's always the story of Nigeria. We know what finally happened. President finally set up the Ikemokwe committee that investigated it. It was as a result, after that offshoot of that, they now said they would take the subsidy away from the oil markets, because formerly the regime was the oil markets would bring in products and they will go and claim subsidies, and they said that system was being bastardized and corruption was filled in that system. And after the Akimokwe committee, they resolved that afterwards, then definitely everything has to be with the NNPC now. But we all know the shenanigan that went on with the NNPC, so it's a cyclical problem. But Farouk was supposed to be that one that was different. But you can see how corruption eats into the system, and that's why I still believe strongly, Oji. Even when you look at the current play of state of petrol in this country, there's still a lot of corruption. If not the corruption, I still believe to a large extent Nigeria should be able to get some reprieve or some subsidies as regards the state of play of the economy. But corruption eats up everything.
Yeah.
So it's finally gone, the court finally docked him. At least this was one person they docked. So when you say, when people bring down our judicial system, also look at cases like Farouk Lawan, because the law did, take his course, and he went to jail and served a jail term of 5 years. So, I mean, it's out now. Probably will be able to move on with his life.
Move on with his life. A quick comment.
Farouk Lawan was a very vocal, very articulate member of the House of Reps in his time, representing the Bagwai Chanono constituency of Kanu State. And he was chairman of the committee of the House of Reps at the time investigating petrol subsidy. That was also the time when the Jonathan administration set up the Agitation committee to also look at the subsidy scam at that time. Now, the House of Reps committee, which Farouk Lawan chaired, came up with a list of 34, companies that were said to be involved in the subsidy scam. The story was that, he had approached Wotowoto for, a bribe of $3 million to take out Zenon's name out of the list. And then he walked into a trap. He collected $500,000, which he hid in his babariga and his cap. And the rest is the story.
Yes.
He was convicted in 2021. He went to on appeal. Court of Appeal reduces charges, but still convicted him for 5 years imprisonment. And now he's out. What can we say to him? Congratulations. Because he himself says, well, he thanks God that he has been able to survive this ordeal, this trial. Kuje Custodial Center is probably not the best of places for anybody to go and spend 5 years of their lives. So congratulations to him. Number two, it shows that nobody is above the law, and that's also a very important message. So, but congratulations to him. Well, you are worried that he came out of prison, he jumped into a Prado Jeep. Well, it looks like it.
Looks like Red Rover.
Whatever it is, maybe. But in England, yesterday, people that were released from prison, under this new arrangement in the UK, they were saying, big up to Kestama. They brought Bentley and Rolls Royce to leave prison. And the paper said today that Kestama is embarrassed that these people that we just released to empty the prisons, they are going home and popping champagne and they are bringing a Rolls Royce to the prison.
All right, well, Dr.
So it happens elsewhere.
It does. Well, Dr. Abati, I hope lessons have been learned in this particular scheme. I mean, it is a big story out there and a good way that our justice system has put, these sort of high-profile individuals in prison and, have made our Nigerian system more transparent, hopefully. Well, all right, efficient as well. We'll take another story. Well, Senate Majority Leader Oyelola Ashiru has denied drug possession allegations levied against him by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The agency had alleged that it found drugs in the home of Ashiru and arrested 2 of his aides in 2023. NDLEA's allegation came after the senator representing Kwara South said the agency is the most corrupt and compromised government agency in the country. Well, on Tuesday, Ashiru said the NDLEA is attempting to undermine his privileges as a senator to speak on issues by making unfounded allegations. He claimed that he doesn't even drink alcohol. Let's take a listen. I
want to ascertain that in my life, I'm upward of 78 years now. I'm 68 years now. I assert that I cannot even identify what you call cannabis or any drug. Beyond taking water, I don't take alcohol. I don't take any drug. I don't even take carbonated drinks. These allegations are malicious, an attempt to undermine my credibility as a senator and impede my ability to freely participate in parliamentary debate. Your Excellency, I am of opinion that for the protection of myself as a member of this Allo Chamber, for the protection of the Senate and other senators, we must do something about it.
Ayo, this man has denied these allegations, but we know that the Senate has set up an ad hoc committee to investigate this drug allegation, and very good for that. Yeah.
NDLEA was one who released the statement. Yes. So it all started last week when Senator Sumaila Kawu from Kanu South, representing Kanu South, had sponsored a motion asking for a drug rehabilitation, and that there was a pervasive problem of drug issues in Kanu, and that even some senators house illegal drugs and were also given to people during campaign season. Now, Senator Oyelola then stood up and castigated NDLEA and said that, they were not an effective agency. Then the NDLEA came out to say that actually they raided his home, so I think in February of this year, and they found illicit drugs in his home. Now he's come out to defend himself. When number one Senator Kawu made that statement, we said it here, yes, that it should not go lying fallow. It should be investigated. The NDLEA has a responsibility to get to the end of this matter and not just make allegations back and forth. These are very serious allegations. Absolutely. If someone who is put in trust of the people to sit in the Senate as a senator and has been accused of having drugs, illicit drugs in his home, it shouldn't just end as accusations and counter accusations. We should get to the bottom of this matter, and whoever is found culpable must face the books. We have a problem, a drug problem on our hands, young people who are addicted to drugs right from secondary school. So this is not just child's play. This is not just your word against mine. We need to see the end of this matter, and NDLEA has to substantiate its claims against Senator Oyelola Shiru. I believe that should be done.
Well said, Ayo.